Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Good morning. Joel Krausar sitting in for Tony Tone this morning as Tony spends the week off with his knee. He's getting that worked on. So I'm going to be sitting in this morning, and actually all week I'll be your guest host. So I'm Joel Krausar again from Affordable Metal Manufacturing, where I'm the sales and marketing director. But I do have the opportunity to be the backup host here for Tony Tone, or Hy-Vee Live, with Tony Tone. Here, and it's Monday morning. It's May 21st already, which is hard to believe. Last week of school for preschool here in Muscatine, and then next Wednesday is the last day of school for our bigger kids here in our school district. Wilton just had their graduation yesterday. Muscatine's graduation is this upcoming Memorial Day weekend. So there's a lot to talk about this week, and we'll have coverage over all the things that are going on in our community throughout the week here on Hy-Vee Live every morning at 8:30. Thanks for tuning in again on Facebook Live, the YouTube live stream, and then it also will re-air on Muscatine Power and Water digital cable on the Remax channel, channel 5 and 705 under digital cable. My first guest this morning, he's sitting right next to me, a man I've known for a while. Our community guest is Dr. Hal Green. Hal, welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So you've embarked on a lot in your career, having been in the realm of psychology as well as ministry, many years serving as the pastor at Wesley United Methodist Church here in town. And now you can go to Hal's website, drhalgreen.com. You're also a member of the Catholic Church in this community now as well. But we're here to talk about some new books that you've written here in 2018. You're just not a guy who likes to sit still.
Oh, no, I haven't retired. I've advanced in another direction. Yeah, I've been writing for quite a while, and I wear many hats. Yes, I was a psychologist, then a pastor. I was a therapist in private practice. I've done evangelism. I taught here at Muscatine Community College for 4 years. So I've done a few things, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up.
And one of the things that I've always appreciated in my conversations with you has been, sometimes with science and religion, people think that they need to be mutually exclusive things, and it's evident in your preaching and your teaching and in your professional experience that science and religion actually can tie in very well.
I can think like a scientist. My undergraduate major at Drake was philosophy, and my major area was philosophy of science. So I dig science, but I also dig theology, and I'm a mystic. What is a mystic? I'm glad you asked.
I don't know. That actually was one of my next questions.
Well, for me, it's got to be at the top, see, because a mystic is one who claims to have had some kind of a direct, now the words fail, encounter, experience, consciousness of the absolute, God. And that goes way back. I spent almost 5 years as teaching at Wesleyan College, and I was a mystic by night and a psychologist by day, and kept it to myself until finally, through an interesting chain of events, I was called into ministry in the United Methodist Church, which is a great church. They called me, actually. May 1st, 1970, when my wife had gone into labor with our first child, and I'm a twin, fraternal, and our birthday's May 1st. So this is May 1st, 1970, 2:30 in the afternoon. We're rushing around trying to get things ready to go. Oh, to the hospital, And the phone rings, and it's this guy from Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary saying, "We have your name as someone who's interested in going to seminary." I said, "What? Where'd you get my name?" "Well, I don't know. We got your name." Anyway, so...
and the rest is kind of history with that. You went on to...
I went on in 72.
That's at Northwestern University, correct? Is that where that seminary is?
Yeah, Garrett is on Northwestern's campus. Then I stayed after I got my Master of Divinity and took a PhD at Northwestern in comparative religion. So I kind of like education.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that kind of leads us so today, which is your two books, and the first one is titled "The Heart of Jesus and the Coming Relationship." You've got a copy of it right here, and I'm reading some of the. I read a little bit of the synopsis on the website last night. You can buy these at Amazon.com as well. This one is more about that union with you reference cosmic Christ. What do you mean by?
I'm glad you asked. Oh, cosmic meaning, and this goes back to Teilhard de Chardin, who was a great scientist, theologian of the 20th century, and Father Richard Rohr, and many others who talk about cosmic meaning, as Paul said in 2 Corinthians 5:17, if we knew Christ Jesus in the flesh, we no longer know him that way. If anyone is in Christ, there is a new creation. So it's bigger than just a person, as great as he was and is. Cosmic means that all of us, as a miracle, can attain connection to a union with Christ at the same time. Figure that one out.
Yeah, that's a challenge. I think that's the thing. I mean, I grew up in the church, grew up a religious person, and I had that. I'll be honest, I had that moment in college where I kind of was like, you know what, I'm not really sure if I'm digging this anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And you kind of have to go to the desert, so to speak, to use a little bit of a reference from the Bible. And sometimes it's people that they go away and they never come back. I was fortunate that I did in my own personal life. But, when you read books like these, sometimes you just need another person's perspective to help with that. Is that something, as you were writing these books, I guess, what was that inspiration to actually put pen to paper to do these?
Okay, let me read from the book for whom I wrote the book, and then give me just a few minutes to tell you what it's about, okay? For whom this book is written, if you seek God but are not satisfied with what you have thus far found, if you hunger for something more but have difficulty expressing what, if you thirst for a hidden stream you somehow sense but know not how to reach, then you are the one for whom I write this book. I have one proviso. Do not cease seeking God, come what may. Rather, ask for even greater desire and persevere. I was a mystic, and then I had this breakthrough at a 10-day retreat, prayer retreat in August of 2003, where I experienced a heart union with the heart of Christ. Can we talk? And it's been continuous. You can't see it. But the book is about, well, let me read the back. Okay? Christianity has a glorious vision of a future union with God. That's not usually what's being presented. We have, generally speaking, reduced Christianity to just a set of beliefs and behaviors. That's it. What do you believe? And people get into arguments about religion. Well, I think this. Well, I think that. As if that's it. That is not it. Well, we think it's behavior, rituals, rites. Like the bands that used to say, "What would Jesus do?" I don't know. What would Jesus do? No. So that's it. That's not it. And then the third B, the 4 B's. The third B is belonging. And so you don't just have Christianity. I am a Christian. Somewhere along the line, and I was an agnostic for 10 years, officially, until I encountered God at a prayer meeting, November 17th, 1967, and the Holy Spirit touched me. Dunk. Changing your life forever. It's like irreversible. I had been an agnostic. So anyway, what's being promoted, and there's so many wonderful people in the church, but the church is basically dormant. I hate to say dead, but even if it's dead, God can resurrect it. That's the good thing about God. Okay. Christianity has a glorious vision of a future union with God. It's all there in the Bible. It's there in church tradition. Hal Green, hello, is now standing in this union. The heart of Jesus and the coming relationship tells the love story of how Hal entered into a heart union with the cosmic Christ. Cosmic meaning, see, God is the God of the universe, not just the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not just the God of Muhammad, not just the God of Moses, but of the whole universe. So in conversations with people like, do you think that there are aliens? I don't know. But if they are, they would have the same God, because God is the God of the cosmos, not just the earth that used to be the center. Okay. When the long-awaited relationship, and it's all about the relationship, arrives, religion will have attained its end, in two sense, its end, meaning its consummation, what it's been seeking to attain, and therefore, in a sense, once you have that union, that relationship, you got it. And you go on the rest of your life and eternally. Okay. The book explores what God has been doing and preparing for all along, from our creation to our consummation. It describes what it is like to be in a union with God. Can you imagine it? Being in a union?
It's a hard thing.
It's alien. A union. But it's not.
I think that's the thing, is as I'm 36, those are some of the things I still you struggle with, and those are that sounds like your book is a book where someone who may be curious about some of these things is a way for them to explore, and that's just the first book that you've written here.
Well, these were written at the same time.
Okay.
They're companion books. This is Closer Than Your Own Eye, Meditations on Union with God. It consists of 90 poetic meditations.
Yeah, I was going to say poetic meditations. So maybe this is the book that maybe if someone who has a time challenge and they find a hard time sitting down and reading, paragraph after paragraph, chapter after chapter.
This is easier.
That book may have some of the similar impact, but be a little bit more quickly absorbed, if you will.
This seeks to reach the heart through the head. This seeks to reach the head through the heart.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's something coming. I think we're entering, I hope I live to see it, into a new mystical age like we had in the Middle Ages. Meaning, what happened in the Middle Ages and then the Reformation and the Enlightenment and rationalism. And you had, in the 17th century, John Locke saying, Christianity is the most reasonable of all religions. And they cut the mystical dimension all the way out with Christ. And now he's this great teacher. So we got to get his teaching, his parables, and that's it. He went around healing. Paul talks about being in Christ so often. And there's two ways to understand the word in. From the outside looking in. Well, over in Illinois, right? I'm not in Illinois. The second way is from the inside looking out. So if anyone is in Christ, inside looking out, there's a new creation. It's true. In Galatians, Paul says, it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. See, we don't get that kind of language. And I spent so many years as a pastor really, and there's so many wonderful people in the church, and I'm not trying to say negative things about the church, but gosh, people who didn't know God. When I came back, by the way, in 2003, I was still at Wesley, and I started preaching about what had happened to me. I apparently scared people. And this one wonderful gal wanted to talk, so she came to my office, and we had an hour discussion. And she got it. She said, I wish everybody could spend an hour with you and you could explain what's going on. It's very simple. Let me get my little miniature Bible out. What did we do before this, huh?
I know. We have people who in church who bring their iPads so they can follow along with Scripture.
I'm going to read something that Jesus quoted, because it was true of Israel then, and that the Lord put on me very heavily one time when I was in seminary as being true. Okay, this is from Isaiah 29, beginning at verse 13. The Lord said, because these people draw near with their mouths and honor me with their lips, while their hearts are far from me, and their worship of me is a human commandment learned by rote. right? So I will again do amazing things with his people. We're not talking rejection here. I will again do amazing, shocking and amazing. The wisdom of the wise shall perish, and the discernment of the discerning shall be hidden. Something's going to come. So I think I'm standing in what's coming.
Yeah. And if you're interested in these books that we've been talking about today, Dr. Hal Green, you can go to drhalgreen.com, and Hal is one L. We've got the website pulled up here for you. You can see there's a photo of Dr. Green with his grandkids.
Yes, my website, drhalgreen.com, drhalgreen.com. I also have a radio show here, locally 8:30 to 9 on Sunday mornings. And I have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
Dr. Hal Green channel, where I've got a number of YouTubes. So, yeah, I'm in the midst of trying to explain to people what I believe God is doing and give people an opportunity to get into it. And where it goes, I don't know.
That's
See,
the
all I
part
can do
of
is
the fun.
all you can do is offer. And if people want to listen, great. And if they don't, I can help that. Have a nice day.
It's a very interesting topic to me. I'm actually looking forward to getting into the books myself. I know, and I've always found it interesting. I've listened to your radio show, having that opportunity because you have that perspective of the theological perspective, then also from them being a mental health professional as well. I think that's something that people are challenged by and are challenged with, is because we just saw it last week. And I know we might be going off topic a little bit here, but you had the school shootings in Texas, which is, that's a very topical thing right now. We had a young man over the weekend who had a sign outside of his house. It said, "Honk if you want to end school shootings." It's a young student here in Muscatine, and the police drove by and they honked and they stopped and they took a picture with him. So we're all on board with these mental health issues. There's multiple layers to this onion, if you will. But faith is a part of that as well too. And is that something that you see in your?
Well, I think if enough people come on board and their hearts unite with the heart of Christ, our culture is going to change, because right now we've lost the center. We've lost the glue of what makes us a people. How that's happened and where we go, we'll see. But that's just one sign of it, are these incredibly sick people who do these incomprehensible, tragic things, shooting. I've worked at 3 mental hospitals, and I don't want to blame the mentally ill, because 90% of the mentally ill are totally harmless. They're not going to hurt anybody.
Right.
This is just a certain.
It is. It's a very specific malady that is creating what appears to be a majority of the problems.
We have armed the devil. We have armed evil with all the guns that are out there, and you're not going to see an end of it. How do you stop it? Our culture is designed to be open and free and democratic. We're not going to have you want to have a police state? And yeah, I can understand the whole thing about arming teachers, but then it reminds me of the Wild Wild West. Okay, by gosh, we're going to go back and everyone's going to have a 6-gun, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll all be armed. Oh, that'll help. Yeah, how many more people will be killed then?
Well, and then it all comes back to if you're seeking some of these answers, or if you're just curious. Maybe you mentioned your period of your life where you were an agnostic. These might be books are an opportunity for people to maybe just widen their breadth of knowledge,
right.
If not,
and speak to the fact that God is greater. God is bigger than typically what's been projected. Okay?
Absolutely.
Our God gets so small. Oh well. Yeah.
We could go on for hours. We could probably do a full hour-long talk show here with Dr. Hal Green, who is a unique person in our community, is very involved in our community, and we're very happy to have him here on Hy-Vee today. Again, go to drhalgreen.com. You can buy the books on Amazon. The one book is The Heart of Jesus and the Coming Relationship, and then the book that's Poetic Meditations is called Closer Than Your Own Eye. Again, Dr. Hal Green, former pastor at Wesley United Methodist Church and longtime Muscatine resident. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joel.
We appreciate it. It's an interesting topic, and we look forward to more topics like this as we get through our week here on Hy-Vee today. Coming up, our next guests are going to be Krista Regenetter and Dana Urington from the Iowa State University Extension Office. We're going to throw it over to the CBI Bank and Trust Aisle Cam, and we're gonna take a look at what they're looking at today as we change out guests. here this morning. Again, big thank you to CBI Bank and Trust for sponsoring our aisle cam every morning here on Hy-Vee Today, where we broadcast live at 8:30 a.m. and you can catch the replay. If you came on the second half of Dr. Green, don't forget to catch the replay on MPW Digital Cable, or you can go to our YouTube channel, which is Hy-Vee Today, or our Facebook page. And we're going to get Krista and Dana coming in, but we got a nice view of our cheese aisle. You know, Memorial Day weekend is coming up. Great opportunity to do some kick off the barbecue season, if you will. We're going to be talking a little bit more tomorrow, actually, with Mike Church, our Hy-Vee meat manager. We'll be talking more about that. And the cheese aisle here is a great way to spice up a barbecue, make a meat and cheese tray. Lots of different cheeses that you can incorporate into your daily and weekend plans as we get ready to bring in Dana Urington and Krista Regenetter from the Iowa State University Extension. I know if you're tuning in, you're like, who is this guy? I'm Joel Krausar. I'm sitting in for Tony this week as he is out for the week. And our next guests here are going to be talking, I think, about some of the summer programs that we have coming up, because I mentioned at the top of the show, we are almost done with the school year here in Muscatine. I know the preschool is done this week, and the older kids get out next Wednesday. And that means that parents are going, oh my goodness, what do we need to do? We've got all these brains we need to keep feeding with information, and also keep them fed with food, which Hy-Vee is a great place to get that all for you. But we also have 4-H in this community. Iowa State University Extension oversees a lot of those programs, and Krista Regenetter, who is the director of the ISU Extension Office here in Muscatine, and Dana Urington, who I know handles a lot of the programming, and she does a lot with our youth programs here in our community. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. You know, we've talked a lot about programs that have gone on with Iowa State University Extension, and the summer is really a busy time of year for your office. Every time of year is busy in your office.
It is.
But the summer is really where there's a little bit more focus, because there's just a lot more time to get with the kiddos and get them involved.
There is. We each year we're able to add more and more camps. We do day camps, and this year in Muscatine we'll be offering 22 different day camps for youth. 11 of them will be for the 1st through 3rd graders, and then the other half will be for 4th through 6th graders.
And that's kids going into those grades.
Going into those grades. Mm-hmm. And then we are also able to offer camps in Wilton and West Liberty. So we will be busy all summer long.
And that's, you know, then there's also fair and 4-H stuff that's going on. So we kind of have multifaceted youth programming going on over the summer.
We all know that you guys don't do anything during the county fair week at all. That's not busy. I'm kidding. I've been out there. I've seen them in action.
Put our feet up.
They're very rarely in an air-conditioned spot, and they're going from venue to venue, watching the Muscatine County 4-H kids do their thing. And I think we talked about this last year a little bit, Krista, when you and I were just having a conversation. When I was growing up, I thought 4-H, you had to be an ag kid, grow up on a farm. That is not the case at all. 4-H is something for everyone.
It is. 4-H, you can be a city kid, farm kid. You do not have to do livestock. If you can imagine a project, we have an area for it.
Yeah. And these camps that Dana's talking about, I'm pointing down at our nice flyers, but this is 4-H. So, you know, having an opportunity to get hands-on learning in different areas, that is 4-H. And all of the camps that Dana does are based off of research-based curriculum, where she is getting that from the Iowa 4-H office, and it's about experiential learning and hands-on learning and getting kids really engaged and excited about what they're doing. And some of these now, there is acres to agriculture.
Yep.
So if there are some kids that want to explore, especially city kids that want to explore a little bit more into agriculture, we have that opportunity. But look at, we have Snowtastrophe Camp. Dana, what are you going to do on Snowtastrophe Camp?
Snowtastrophe Camp is a curriculum where the students will read a story about a little girl who did an experiment and her community exploded with snow. And they have to get rid of the snow by using Dash and Dot, which are our robots that we have. So they'll have to figure out how to computer code dash to push the snow off the streets while learning about experiments, weather, all of that together in one camp.
And so that's integrating some of the STEM principles,
Absolutely.
that's science, technology, engineering, and math. But it's also, I think there's a misnomer that STEM is you must learn how to write code, binary, everything is binary, all of this. But really what it is, it's about implementing creative problem solving, and those are the building blocks to help complete that objective, and that's what this is looking
All
at.
of my camps, we talk about the engineering design process, which kids are doing already but don't realize, which is, what are we going to plan to do? What do we need to do it? Let's do it. Did it work? Did it not? If it didn't, it's okay. Let's try something different. I want kids to understand just because you don't complete it correct the first time, that is okay. Let's see what we need to do different.
Absolutely. I was just reading something over the weekend about that. I have 3 little kids of my own, and I've been teaching how to swing a baseball bat, how to hit a baseball. And you forget, as a 36-year-old person who played baseball for 18 years, like you don't think about that is rote to you. For me to walk into a batting cage, I know to swing, look at the ball, hit the bat, my muscle memory is there. Having to teach a kid how to do that, develop that muscle memory, we all know that that's a challenge physically. There's also a challenge that with the mental building blocks as well. And these camps do a great job of reinforcing and creating that muscle memory, if you will, from the mental side.
Yeah.
And we do, this year we're adding a lot of different camps. From CSI, they have to figure out a mystery.
The one for the younger kids, that's Who Borrowed Mr. Bear. I'm totally signing up my kid for that because I think that's really fun.
Yeah. Where did Mr. Bear go? We do bubbles. There is science behind bubbles besides just having a lot of fun with it. The kids will learn how to cook healthy meals.
That's Dana's favorite, the bubbles
The
one.
bubbles one?
Yeah.
I love bubbles.
Just learning
So
about
you know,
surface
she gets
tension.
really
and
excited
all
about
that.
that.
And you know, you challenge the kids. Can you blow a square bubble? You cannot. You cannot. You can
Because of
try.
gravity.
Oh, did you just see?
Because
No,
when
surface.
the surface of the bubble goes around, it completes a circle every time with the gas in the inside.
All right.
Oh, he wants to try this. Look at
You're gonna
so
try.
Bubble
Challenge
Bonanza
accepted.
is August 1st from 8 to 12:30 if you'd like to stop over. We just need to do a background check and then you can be a volunteer.
Volunteer, I want to take the class. I don't want- But looking at this, there's all sorts of things.
Yes.
We talked about snowtastrophe, but kids in the kitchen, those are things that, as more and more families are working parents, kids are having to develop some cooking skills earlier on, and that's a really great opportunity.
And we have a great kit that has child safety knives and cutting boards. So the kids, we introduce them to different fruits and vegetables. They chop them up. They make their own foods. I get a lot of oohs when I introduce something, but most of the time after they try them, they realize that's not too bad. And then they realize they can make it at home.
And maybe they'll introduce their parents to some
Yes.
That's what we're
some new
hoping.
foods as
Yes.
well.
So there's lots of opportunities. The one that I think is the most fun is, well, maybe not the most fun. It's the most fun to watch is the dinosaurs, amphibians, bugs. Oh my. Dana gets really into this one. There's like dinosaur footprints going into the extension office.
I think that we should just say this, that
Dana
likes every single thing
It's
that's on
true.
this category.
It is true. But we talk about dinosaurs. We look at different frogs and lizards, and then we go into the bugs. This year we were able to receive a kit from the Governor's Scallop Grant, which will allow the kids to look at different stones and find out what would be the best to make a replica out of. So we'll incorporate that into the curriculum this year.
So the camps that you have up on the screen and that we have promoted right now are all of our Muscatine camps. But we're also really excited because we have a 4-H summer assistant who is a Muscatine County 4-H alumni, Elise, that is going to be leading some camps in Wilton and West Liberty too, because we are a countywide organization. We don't have that up yet because we just finalized it. So in the next day or so, if anybody that's in the Wilton and West Liberty area, we will have information. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
We're going to be offering the Kids in the Kitchen in West Liberty. Also in West Liberty will be Let's Get Growing. So they'll learn about different ways to grow different plants. And then we're going to be offering in Wilton the Let's Get Growing Camp and the Slimy Gooey Grows, which is also a favorite of mine.
I would tap out. I
What?
have huge textural issues.
You can't make slime and
Nope.
gax
Nope.
and
Yeah. That's a story that my mother has a lot of fun telling about my childhood. I can't clean out a pumpkin. I'm
You
weak.
can't. That's you. You choose
You know what? I
not
just
to.
use- yes,
If you had to for
If
life
I
or
had
death, you
latex,
would.
if I had latex gloves on and had a barrier in between, I'd be fine.
you'd be fine.
If your
But yeah, no.
children's lives depended on
Yes,
it,
I
you'd
would.
do it.
I would absolutely be able to do it. So, children is what we're talking about with the youth camps this summer with 4-H and the Iowa State University Extension Office here in Muscatine. How do I get my kids signed up for these programs?
There are our registration and flyers are on our website. They can go to there, print them off. They can mail them in with the registration fee or drop them off at the extension office.
And that's over on Isaac Avenue, right?
It is
there.
right across from Heinz.
Yep, 1514 Isaac Avenue. And going back to what you're saying, the fees on these camps range from $10 for some of the half-day camps up to $30 for the ones that are 3 half-days.
Okay.
So they're very reasonably priced camps. I'd also really like to encourage folks, if you are looking at summer camps but you're feeling like financially it's a hardship, we do have a great program at our United Way called the Kids First Fund, where you can call Nicole at United Way and talk to her if you have a financial need, and the United Way can help cover the costs of some camps. So, other ways you can also come talk to us. We have some funding through the Muscatine County 4-H Foundation. So there are ways, if the cost is a barrier. We really want to get kids engaged, and there's that summer melt they talk about, where between when school gets out and the next school year, kids learn, or they leave behind a lot of the things that they've learned. And so part of the goal of our camps is to keep them learning, keep them excited. All of our camps incorporate literacy and science, communication and leadership. I think communication and leadership are the cornerstones of 4-H that I didn't really understand that before I started at Extension, and as I've learned more, I see, that's why now my kid is in 4-H, because I'm like, I want him to learn those things. I want to say, though, another way that if you want to stay informed, we just started a new newsletter. And on our Facebook page, which if you go into Facebook and search Muscatine Extension, you'll find our Facebook page. There is a way to subscribe to our newsletter, and we are highlighting our different summer camps in there. We also highlight the Master Gardener newsletter. We're trying to keep it brief, but just showing people all the many things going on at the Extension office.
I saw the post last week about the newsletter, and I went on.
Did
and
you
I
look?
clicked.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm a follower. Again, you and I have talked
Good job
many,
being a
many
follower
times.
for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's one of those, Iowa State Extension is kind of this nugget that it's instead of being, you think about a dirt ball rolling down a hill. I think Iowa State Extension started at this little boulder rolling, and it's been rolling for a long time, and it's gotten a lot bigger. There's much that you guys do. I'm looking at the Iowa Master Conservationist
There you
program.
guys are too. Look at that.
Nice. The Iowa Master Conservationist program, which I think is kind of we hear a lot about Master Gardeners.
Yes.
But, conservation is something that's really growing in our area. It's something we need to pay a lot of attention to, and you guys are at the forefront of that.
Well, I'm really excited about this. Is a newly revamped program, the Master Conservationist, and the difference is Master Gardeners, they go through an education component, but then they give back in service hours. So the Master Conservationist program is an education program, but it doesn't have a service component. And it's also going to be what we're calling a flipped classroom format. So the folks that participate in this and they sign up to be a part of it, they'll have some online learning to do on different conservation subjects, and then we will meet at different locations all throughout Louisa and Muscatine County that correlate to that. So when we talk about geology, we're going to go out to Wildcat Den, and we're partnering with the Nature Conservancy to do this. So we talk about the aquatic areas, then aquatic systems. We're going to go to one of the Nature Conservancy's watersheds where we can look at the aquatic system. And so it's going to be 7 face-to-face classes. It starts August 30th on Thursday, so we'll run those 7 Thursday nights It's a $100 registration fee, but every event will have guest speakers and be talking about a different part of conservation. So prairies, forests, aquatic systems, watersheds, geology, and then just communicating conservation. So I'm really, really excited about this program. I think it's going to be really fun. And I think it's going to fill up. We're only allowing 20 people into the class, and I know we have a couple already registered. So if folks are interested, they should call the extension office, 263-5701, and you can talk to Shirley or you can talk to me. There's information on our Facebook page and on our website too.
You know, conservation, it's not just about being, you know, eco-friendly and recycling. This is more about, we want to protect those watersheds, protect the prairie, and a lot of reasons that folks like to do that is because their recreation is hunting. They're fishermen, they're fisherwomen. You know, they're out living and having their recreation in nature, and this is really what they have to pay attention to so they continue.
And part of this is also agriculture. So one of the areas that we're finalizing right now is trying to look at a model farm site, because conservation practices, we need to keep our topsoil in place. We need to reduce the nutrients that are going into our streams and our rivers, and farmers are really at the forefront of that. I think that that's a misnomer, that people think that, you know, the farmers don't want to talk about that stuff. Well, that's their livelihood, is to keep good soil and to keep their plants growing well. And so, cover crops is a big thing that we talk about throughout our office with Virgil Schmidt. And on the radio the other day, I did hear that southeastern Iowa is one of the top places in the state of Iowa using cover crops, which I thought was really exciting. So these are agricultural processes, they're conservation processes, but I think it's going to be a really fun class to go through.
And you think about the water quality too, which I know is always a very popular topic, especially with some of the things that happened in Des Moines.
Is the right word.
Very hot button topic, if you will. I was trying to keep it positive. My grandfather was a farmer in western Iowa, and his farm was near the Floyd River, and they used the river to help irrigate some of their operations. And so clean water, yes, it matters a lot to those guys, because if they have access to clean water, they will responsibly use that, which is better for all of us. If you can use a natural source instead of a cultivated source where it's being pumped in or what have you, it makes it a lot better for all of us.
Well, and we take water for granted in Iowa because it's not nearly, I mean, I lived out in Oregon, and in the western United States, water is thought of very, very differently. Here we kind of just take it for granted, but we need to protect our systems and for the good of everyone.
Right.
So you're right, Extension, we have our ag programming, we have our 4-H youth development programming, and everything we do in our summer camps, our Clover Kids, that all falls under 4-H youth development. We also have human science programming. So for example, on Wednesday we have a program called Your Money, Your Goals, where it's an introduction to a financial literacy toolkit that anybody who's a service provider or clergy or social worker, if they work with families, and part of that is helping them get over hurdles of financial issues, it introduces them to a toolkit that will help them do that. And the registration deadline was on Friday, but if there's anybody that hears this and says, oh, I really would like to do that, we can still get you in. So just call, again, the extension office, 263-5701, and we'll get you set up for that. So that's kind of an example of our human science programming. And then we also have community and economic development. So we're busy. We keep things going and hopping around.
Well, and there's just the breadth of programming is so significant. I look at the kids programs, the summer day camp programs, and really you can find something for any level of interest for your kids. I mean, we see a chemistry class, yes, but it's not. You're not mixing hydrochloric acid and stuff like that. You're using.
She would love to.
You're doing things every day that you can find in your house.
Yes.
That are help reiterating and reinforcing these scientific principles.
We are, and I always send something home with the kids so the parents understand that the lava lamp they just made, they can make at home with oil and water and Alka-Seltzer, and then it's easy, and the kids can do it at home. So there's that follow-up aspect where just because they leave camp, they can do other stuff. So,
and those are the things I think back to my childhood. I don't remember a lot of the things I did in a science class. I do remember a summer program where I made a baking soda volcano.
yeah.
and I still to this day know exactly how to make that baking soda volcano. And
That's in the dinosaur can,
Yeah.
so you can come to that.
I think you should live stream on the Slimy Gross Kid.
Oh, we could do
That'd be
it.
fun.
We could do it for charity. You could wager. Will he or will he not?
He'll
puke?
stick his hand into a bowl of something.
No, it would definitely make it for entertaining.
People would give
TV.
money for that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? If it'll raise money for charity in this community, I will do it. But I put it out there, I guess.
There you go.
If we do it, I'm on board. I very rarely walk away from the challenge. But there's so many cool things going on with Iowa State University Extension, the kids' day camps, and the adult learning and everything. Again, I would encourage you, visit their website, visit their Facebook page.
Subscribe to our newsletter.
Subscribe to the newsletter. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
And which is good. Again, these are the sort of things that I know my wife and I struggle sometimes to think, what can we do with our kids? What is out there? And by subscribing to newsletters like this and following these organizations on Facebook is really how we're able to learn that. And again, you guys, thanks so much for facilitating all this programming. And like you said, it's research based. This has been proven to work. It's not just you guys saying, "Oh, this would be fun."
Yeah,
Like,
we don't
it's
just
fun,
Google something.
It is
but
fun.
but there's a lot that goes behind it, and Iowa State University backs it.
And that is, if you wanted to boil down, what is extension? Because a lot of people don't really understand what extension is. The boiled down nugget is that we provide research-based programs and information to the community in partnership with Iowa State University. So that is what we're here to do. We are a county government subunit, which I think a lot of people don't understand about us, that we are our own, the Iowa State University Extension Office, Muscatine County Extension is our own entity, and then we partner with Iowa State. And our whole goal is to get research-based education out there to our community to make Muscatine County a better place to live, work, and play.
Yeah, I don't know if I could have. I can't put a better button on that.
It's
than what
taken me a
Krista-
while.
But yeah,
It's
you've
like
done
3
this
years I
before.
finally figured out how to explain what we do.
Has it been 3 years? That's all.
3.5,
Wow.
yeah.
And Dana, how long have you been with Extension?
4 years, a little over 4.
Nice. And again, Dana Urington, who oversees the programming at Iowa State University Extension, and Krista Regenetter, the director of Iowa State University Extension. Great resources in our community. And again, go check out their Facebook page and their website. And you look at some of these classes. We've got the Kids in the Kitchen. Have your kids take that class and then come out to the grocery store. We're actually going to go to the Toyota of Muscatine cart cam here, and you guys can watch this along with me. We're right at the meat bunker that's over there. You see these burgers. That is the sort of thing. That's one of the first things I remember learning how to cook as a kid. You learn some of these safety tips in the Kids in the Kitchen thing. Correction. One of the first things I remember cooking outside of a can of something. But you can get all that stuff here. Kids can learn these things in these classes, and then they can start going to the grocery store with mom and dad and checking everything out and saying, "Hey, I know how to cook that." Or, "Mom, did you know this comes from this?" Or,
Exactly.
are you guys at that stage with your kids where they like giving you input as to what we're going to have for dinner that night? Or?
Oh, for breakfast, I had to make pancakes this morning. We were shopping yesterday, and Leo made it very clear that I needed to get some pancake mix because I usually make my own pancake mix, and I haven't done it for a while. And so he pointed out my laziness and said, "Get some pancake mix because I want pancakes." So they're pretty vocal.
And you can get that pancake mix, I believe.
Oh yeah,
in aisle number, I want to say 6. Here, yeah, aisle number 6 is where
I
you can
think
get
that's a
pancake
good-
mix. Here, and I'm going back to my Hy-Vee days as a youngster.
And I like our health market, so I know there's some over in the health market too.
You can head on over there. Again, we're looking at the Toyota of Muscatine card cam. The other voices you hear this morning are Krista Regenetter
Does it
and
ever
Dana
run into
Urington.
something?
I don't think so. She's usually a pretty good driver. No.
why don't you just
Well,
use
if we did have a collision, Toyota of Muscatine does have a tremendous body shop, the
yeah.
Abra Body Shop over at Toyota of Muscatine.
That would actually be cool
So-
if you kind of souped up that cart a little bit. If it's
We'll-
the Toyota of Muscatine,
we'll
we
give
should
that-
have some
we'll-
flames.
We'll give that over to our friend TJ Deere over at Toyota of Muscatine, and we'll give him that suggestion as we're going by. Again, walking through the aisles here, heading to the frozen department. This is one of the fun things that we're able to do here on Hy-Vee today every morning. Again, I'm Joel Krausar sitting in for Tony Tone today. And Krista and Dana, thanks so much for coming in today. And don't forget, go to the Iowa State University Extension office to their website and check it all out and get signed up for these summer classes.
Thank
you for having us.
Appreciate it. We've had a busy morning. Dr. Hal Green was in earlier today talking about his books, The Heart of Jesus and the Coming Relationship, and Closer Than Your Own Eye, Meditations on Union with God. And this is, we just had Iowa State Extension as well. Tomorrow, our guests are going to be Jessica Meyer from the Good Makers Market, and then also Alicia Bull, who's the events coordinator with the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and then Mike Church, meat manager here at Hy-Vee, is going to be sitting in with us as well to talk about Memorial Day, right around the corner, biggest grilling weekend of the summer thus far. Tremendous opportunity for us to talk about grilling, which is a big passion of mine. So I am looking forward to that tomorrow with Mike Church. And then on Wednesday, my boss, my general manager, Brooke Wagler from Affordable Metal Manufacturing, is going to sit with us. We're going to talk a little bit of shop. We're going to talk about what we do at Affordable Metal, and also Captain John from the seafood department is going to be over as well. And Chef Tess will be back on Wednesday as well. I don't know if Chef Tess knows this yet, but I might challenge her to a cook-off this week as we enjoy this week of Hy-Vee today. And then on Thursday, make sure you tune in. Kelsey Brackett, who is a current city councilman, will be sitting with us, but he's also very involved in the Muscatine Soapbox Derby, which is right around the corner in the 4th of July week. And then Kelsey Stafford from the Parks and Rec Department will be in to talk about the summer activities here at Muscatine County and City of Muscatine Parks and Rec. We've also got a lot going on here with Hy-Vee with Chef Tess as well. So there's so many things going on. We have Team Staffing Solutions, and is also one of our great sponsors here. You can see the job board that just popped up. We've got a Class B CDL driver, so give them a call over at Team Staffing. Give Brooke a call at 563-316-7636. I can't thank our friends at Media Tree, Chad Yoakum, Ryan Broderson, doing great work here behind the camera, getting all this stuff rolling as I get my feet wet back as your guest host here at Hy-Vee today. I do not want to leave today, though, without just saying some things about Osama Shahade, who passed away last week, former city councilman here in Muscatine, longtime employee of Grain Processing Corporation and the Kent family of companies. Osama passed away last week. My memories of Osama were he was a soccer coach in this community for a long time. I had the pleasure of living 2 houses away from him for 17 years growing up. Tremendous neighbor, person who, as I grew my business knowledge, whenever I had a chance, he would always lend an ear. I was a very receptive and intelligent person when it came to giving advice. He was point blank a lot of times. He'd tell you not just what you wanted to hear, but what you should hear. And it's a huge loss for our community, losing Osama Shahade last week. And I know he had this visitation yesterday. But a man who handled a challenging situation in the early 2000s with a lot of grace. He's a native of Jordan at a time where we didn't always understand what it was like to have the name Osama after 9/11. Never once, I know he had some challenges that went along with that, and never once heard him complain about it. He always handled everything with a lot of dignity. So hearts go out to his daughters, Katie and Nicole, and his wife, Mary, who mourn the loss of a tremendous member of our community, Osama Shahade. So I'll leave that there. And it's Hy-Vee today. I sat in this morning. Joel Krausar from Affordable Metal Manufacturing, as Tony is off this week. And we will, if you want to see this episode again, you can check it out on Muscatine Power and Water Digital Cable, Channel 5 and Channel 705. It replays at 8:30 and 10:30, I believe, are the times for that. As well as you can always go to our Facebook page, Hy-Vee Today, at Facebook, and also on YouTube, Hy-Vee Today. And you can rewatch this show and see our great guests in case you missed it again. Hal Green, big thank you to him, and Iowa State University Extension. That's going to do it for Hy-Vee Today. Big thank you to CBI Bank and Trust and Toyota of Muscatine for sponsoring the aisle cam and card cam, respectively, and Team Staffing as well for being great sponsors of Hy-Vee Today. That's it for this morning. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks for watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community. Questions, comments, know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.